Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NXT The Game Season 1, Episode 39. We are in Louisiana, the Rapides Parish Coliseum, in front of 5293 here for NXT TV. The show opens with Mr. NXT in the ring holding his NXT Money in the Bank briefcase. Mr. NXT says in just 2 weeks' time he'll get on a plane to the shithole that is Toronto, Canada, and step through the ropes to defeat former NXT champion Bobby Roode. He says that decision William Regal made a few weeks prior was the wrong decision and he shouldn't have to cash in to get the NXT championship. Mr. NXT says that not only is his NXT Money in the Bank briefcase holder, but he quite possibly is the best wrestler in the world today, and the fact that gold isn't around his waist is total bullshit. Mr. NXT says challengers are continue to be loud in front of him, and he continues to prove them all false prophets. So the segment deserves better announcing. This angle got us a hard shot, crowd hotter. The not contended storyline advanced and gained heat at 84B+ with Mr. NXT and Bobby Roode to start the show. No worker improvements. Bobby Roode has now came out and is standing on the top of the ramp here in NXT. Bobby Roode says quickly that he's not just like anyone else he's ever faced, that is Mr. NXT, and come NXT TakeOver Toronto, he'll show him just that. You see, says Bobby Roode, unlike him, he's not asking William Regal for time to prepare. Tonight in the main event, he's going to step through the ropes and defeat the NXT #1 contender, as per Regal, Andrade Cien Almas, and prove to Regal and the rest of the wrestling world that not only should he have been named the NXT #1 contender, but I am the rightful champion, foot under the ropes and all. Tonight, Mr. NXT, take notice of Bobby Roode. Take notice of what a championship work ethic looks like. You're lucky, says Roode, pausing, I'll admit. You have a first-class ticket to at least a taste of a championship match. But come NXT TakeOver Toronto, I'm going to go glorious on your ass and show you why they call me the Glorious One. An 82B for Bobby Roode and Mr. NXT in the opening segment. Not bad at all. The crowd deserved better announcing, got the crowd hotter, gained heat again, which is great. No work or improvement, so let's get straight moving through NXT TV this week. All right, and a decent match. Ty Dillinger drew with Eric Young at 11:34 following a double disqualification countout. Ty Dillinger in-ring performance of a 53, Young with a 60, and Eric Young has improved for the 6th match in a row in performance skills, so I think this is telling us to push Eric Young here. All right. In the next match, in a bout that had decent wrestling but didn't have much heat, Blake defeats Alexander Wolf and Tim Donaldson 8-14 when Blake defeated Alexander Wolf by submission. The victory for Blake is a good one for the Blake and Murphy factor, who hasn't had a lot of wins lately, but will be part of NXT TakeOver Toronto. Velvet Sky did good work. 58 for Donaldson, 51 for Blake, 53 for Wolf. All of them very, very solid. The unopposed storyline, that is the NXT Tag Team Championship program, has advanced. Blake is improving in technical skills, so the victory obviously helped Blake here tonight on NXT. All right, next, the Authors of Pain walk into the offices of NXT Commissioner William Regal, who stands up immediately. How can I help you, gentlemen? Paul Ellering says it would have helped if they weren't put into a fatal four-way for their NXT Tag Team Championships, but that's not the matter. They're unopposed. Will Regal smirks and asks Paul if he's a bit nervous. Ellering says he's not, though. Regal tells him good. He doesn't want any excuses, so tonight, Authors of Pain, take the week off. Go home, rest. You guys have a good match in a few weeks. Again, 3 other teams. The Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, look at one another and exit stage left. Ellering, staring at Regal, is shortly behind. So the segment deserved better announcing. We didn't get any worker improvements, but at A93, wow. Our best rating, and as I say it every week, the Authors of Pain are absolutely continuing down the path of superstardom. As I said, I think they started like at 20-25, and they're up into comfortably mid-50s now. All right, next. We see Ruby Riott, Ember Moon, and Candice LeRae watching the iconic trio's entrance. That is Billie Kay, Madison Eagle, and Peyton Royce. As the monitor shows Madison Eagle getting ready to face Aaliyah coming up right now. No worker improvements. 64C. In an extremely short match, Madison Eagles, making her NXT TV debut, defeats Aaliyah in 3:43 by pinfall with a Hellbound. The announcing and the commentary helped the match at 37-41. Not bad. No worker improvements to comment on. 38D-. After having picked up the victory, Madison Eagles celebrates with her besties Billie Kay and NXT Women's Champion Peyton Royce. The iconic trio is going to be a force to be messed with. 67C+ here for the iconic trio after getting the victory of Madison Eagles. The performance of Peyton Royce was good. That's great. She's your champion. Madison Ingles was very underwhelming, though. That's not great. She is quite below Billie Kay and Peyton Royce in terms of overness, so we'll have to work on that. There was no work or improvements. A 67 C+ here in NXT. Next, the camera finds Drew McIntyre standing in the back with his NXT Championship over his shoulder as the #1 contender. The man he'll be facing at NXT TakeOver Toronto, Andrade Cien Almas, walks up. Almas says he's purchased a special pin for the contract signing next week. McIntyre smugly tells him just to focus on his match tonight. Almas says to Drew McIntyre, he's focused, but it doesn't matter. Not only is he going to win, but he's going to win quicker than you, Drew. Going to wrestle. Hell, says Almas, I doubt you even win tonight. Drew McIntyre secures his title and says not only will he win tonight, faster than you, he might add, but I'm going to win at NXT TakeOver Toronto as well and retain my NXT Championship, bud. Drew taps on Almas' chest before leaving the scene. Almas turns around and his phone rings and he smiles, taking the phone call in Spanish. So who is Andrade Cien Almas talking to? There's only one other person besides me who knows who he's talking to, and that person's here right now. Cohen, what's up?
Hi.
All right, the Making an Impact storyline has advanced with the segment and gained heat, an 83 B+ rating. There was no work or improvements. Next, the video airs hyping the NXT UK champion Tyler Bate will be in action next week. We get a 2 to 3 minute highlight package on the NXT UK dominating road he's been on and NXT UK. He'll face, reminder, Triple H's quote-unquote guy, former NFL star, Tino Sabatelli for the NXT UK Championship at NXT TakeOver Toronto. Now, guys, I want to know what you think about this program because it's a little different than things I usually like to do. I don't usually like to push guys to the moon, but I thought this was a nice way to continue the little storyline with Tino Sabatelli and to get a UK guy, quote-unquote, for Regal as well. I have a storyline in mind. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with it because it's kind of a little different than I usually book, but we'll see. Legacy, which is our WrestleMania, is coming up soon. So there was no work or improvements of 50 D+. Not bad for Mr. Tyler Bate. All right, and in the next match, Drew McIntyre defeats Roddy Strong in 1508 by pinfall with a future shot. Guys, remember that number, 1508. Will he defeat, will almost win in quicker fashion against, as we learned earlier tonight, Bobby Roode than Drew McIntyre did against tonight with Roddy Strong in 1508. A 69 C+, a very, very, very good match. Unfortunately, Andrade Cien Almas was pretty weak at the announcing table. That's all right. Roddy Strong got a 60, Drew McIntyre with a 68, and Making an Impact storyline has advanced but lost heat. That's all right. I'm guessing that was due to Andrade Cien Almas' weak announcing. Drew McIntyre is improving in performance skills, which is great because he's our champion. 69 C+. Next, we quickly see Almas, who was watching the match and just went down between McIntyre and Dillinger. Okay, he says in Spanish, I'm impressed. No specific comments, no work or improvements, so a 67 C+ for almost the #1 contender who was just watching. We see Aleister Black backstage now, Cohen. Aleister says that he was working towards getting back into the NXT ring, and Christopher Daniels, a fallen angel, decided it would behoove him to come out and interrupt what was set to be a grand moment. A moment where all his hard work would be recognized. Aleister Black goes on to say that come NXT TakeOver Toronto, Christopher, I'm going to send you back to where you belong. You're going to fade to black. A creepy look crosses the face of Aleister Black as he turns and looks at a cross one like Daniels wears. He holds the cross in his hands and the light goes out. Okay. So the Star Factory storyline has advanced with this segment, Cohen, but it's lost heat to 66 C+. All right, and in the next segment, and about that had great wrestling but little heat, Bridges defeats Liv Morgan in 2:59 by pinfall. Bridges of the Crow's Nest gets the victory over Liv Morgan. Lack of psychology, color commentary with a booth, didn't give the breather. 77 and 76 for an eye candy match, so not bad at all for Liv Morgan and Bridges, giving the crowd a breather. Worker improvements, no skill comment to reach on. 54 C- for one of the latter matches here on NXT this week. All right, now we get a video package going, hyping what's been going down between DIY and the Young Bucks, starting with the Young Bucks costing DIY the NXT Tag Team Championships against the Authors of Pain at NXT TakeOver in your house just a few short weeks ago. They'll meet Cohen at NXT TakeOver Toronto in 2 weeks. Storyline has advanced and lost heat. Gargano looked good. Nick Jackson underperformed. The single got the crowd hotter. This is unfortunate. No worker improvements. I really need this program to be hot. It's been hot. Tonight wasn't that night, Cohen. What are your thoughts so far on the DIY versus Young Bucks program? Do you like that the two are facing off?
I'm thinking soon they should have a match.
Well, they're going to have a match at NXT TakeOver Toronto.
I forgot.
All right, next, we see a face-down Adam Cole laying on the ground as the fans within the arena boo. The camera fades back, and we see Crow standing over Adam Cole, just smiling. As agents and officials run up, it takes William Regal putting his hand on Crow to get him out of what appears to be a daze before he leaves. So Adam Cole was attacked by Solomon Crow, the leader of Crow's Nest. 73 B-. There was no work improvements. And into our main event. In a decent match, Bobby Roode defeats Andrade Cien Almas, the #1 contender to the NXT Championship, in 17-13 by pinfall, with a payoff after a distraction from the NXT Champion, Drew McIntyre. Bobby Roode and Andrade Cien Almas have good chemistry and a lift in the match. Got the crowd hotter, 62 and a 66. The Making an Impact storyline has advanced. A 70 C+ for our main event. So not our best match ever, but a very good match. No worker improvements. So 17-13. Drew McIntyre beat Roddy Strong in 2 minutes faster than Roode beat Almas. But it didn't matter anyway because Almas lost his match due to the distraction by Drew McIntyre, who just kind of stands there and laughs it off. We've really built strong with Bobby Roode and Mr. NXT the last couple weeks on Andrade Cien Almas and Drew McIntyre as well. But the question remains, who keeps calling Andrade Cien Almas? Who is talking to Andrade Cien Almas? And who should Drew McIntyre potentially be worried about? So we'll find out. A 70 C+. Let's see what our show ending segment was. A 77, our best show yet. It increased our popularity in 45 regions, so a 77B, absolutely fantastic. My second highest rating in my history of playing TEW, so I just hope that the matches I've booked for NXT TakeOver Toronto will produce such a strong card. This was NXT The Game Season 1, Episode 39. We are at the go-home show for NXT TakeOver Toronto next week. That's Season 1, Episode 40. Again, Season 1, Episode 39. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll be back very, very shortly with the next episode of NXT.